When I built my small dam 5 years ago, it wasn't anything fancy, just a solid, reinforced structure across the creek that ran through my land. It created a peaceful pond where deer came to drink and ducks floated lazily in the morning sun. What most people didn't realize was that my dam also held back the runoff that flowed downhill toward the nearby neighborhood, the one governed by the most overbearing HOA in the county. Everything was fine until new management took over the HOA. Enter Greg, the self-appointed president, who strutted around like he owned the entire valley. One afternoon, he knocked on my door holding a clipboard and wearing mirrored sunglasses. "Sir," he said curtly, "our records show you haven't paid HOA fees for your water use." I blinked. "That's because I'm not part of your HOA," I replied. My property had existed long before the subdivision was built, and I had the original deed to prove it. Greg didn't care. "Your dam affects our water flow. That makes it our business," he declared. I showed him my documents. The county permit everything. He just smirked and said, "You'll regret ignoring us." A few weeks later, I came home to find heavy machinery on my property. The dam, my dam, was being torn apart by contractors hired by the HOA. When I ran up yelling for them to stop, Greg waved from his truck and shouted, "Should have paid your dues." I called the sheriff immediately, but by the time deputies arrived, the dam was gone. They told me it was a civil matter and that I'd have to file a lawsuit. For 2 days, the weather held steady. But on the third, the skies opened up with the heaviest rainstorm in years. I watched from my porch as water rushed through the creek bed, faster and higher than I'd ever seen. Without the dam, the flow had nothing to slow it down. It surged downhill, straight into Greg's neighborhood. By morning, their perfectly manicured lawns had turned into murky swamps. Garages were flooded, basements filled with muddy water, and the pristine community pool was a brown puddle. The county emergency team showed up to assess the damage, and when they traced the source, the HOA had to admit they'd illegally demolished a private dam. In the end, I rebuilt my dam, this time with official county oversight and extra reinforcements. As for Greg and his HOA, they were hit with thousands in fines and lawsuits from their own residents. Now, when I sit by my pond and listen to the water trickle peacefully, I can't help but smile. Nature doesn't play favorites, and neither does karma.